Yo, what's up, LinkedIn? So I wanted to, I'm just gonna jump right into it, kind of go in a little bit more depth from yesterday. So, um, it, it's no surprise, or not even surprise, but it's obviously. Yo, what up, LinkedIn? So I wanted to, go a little bit more in depth yesterday, from my yesterday's post about, putting a little bit more meat on the bone. Let's face it. I mean, there's very few people in this industry, and it just seems like the masses, since 2020, they're they're running. They have to be running out of topics to talk about because all they do is talk about is carrier issues, brokers hating brokers. McDonald's shutting. I mean, it's just all they do is talk about one little piece of the supply chain and really don't even give any reason to it, right? Like, what is the biggest reason why rates matter, right? What other things could it possibly impact from a supply chain standpoint, impact the entire organization outside of a rate? Nobody wants to talk about that. And I guess, and again, I'm not sitting here. If you don't know, you don't know. You only know what you know, is what I say. But you know, the few of us that like actually go in and really are trying to be strategic, are just it's hard to be heard because there's so many there's so many people that are like, we are so nice people and we'll give you great rates. And I get that. That's awesome. But I think that if you work for, especially, I've only worked for 3PLs, asset-based 3PLs as well. But I only know that, I know the benefits of a 3PL. I've only done strategic sales, so meaning I've only sold all in accounts. So this is all I know. But again, the most, if you think about it from a logical standpoint, most companies, I mean, unless you're just outsource or in-house it, again, that's another topic. There's a lot of things that impact the supply chain, or from a supply chain standpoint, there's a lot of other things outside of a rate that impact the entire company. And that's not just through the logistics department or shipping department or operations department. It goes through accounting, sales, purchasing, IT. There's every department I would be willing to yeah, I would say is somewhat impacted by the supply chain, customer service, everybody, right? And so that's a huge thing. And then it's like, I think that like prospecting is like thrown out the door. Like, people are like cold calling's dead. Like, I actually don't even have time. I don't even understand why we're still even on that. People are on that conversation. Like, I just don't get it. Like, listen, if you want to post about, not blowing you up in your DM, you're probably not going to be a person that I even want to like associate myself with, because anybody that can do that, take the time to bitch about that. Anyways, so let's get into it. Let's start with this department. I love accounting because it's finance, right? I think about, a CFO. If I'm going to go call into a CFO, it's good to know some of these things from a 10,000 feet up, from a financial level. So I'll call accounting. So why would I call accounting? Again, there's a lot of things you can figure out from accounting that you just wouldn't be able to figure out from logistics people, right? From the shipping manager. There's a reason why they're in accounting, and there's shipping's in shipping. So how does a 3PL benefit? I'll just say real quick. If you don't know, how does a 3PL benefit a company from an accounting standpoint? Well, visibility, right? Most 3PLs worth knowing. We can tailor, your visibility into your key cost drivers, whatever you really want to see. We can provide that for you. Data is literally, if you're using one 3PL, it's all in one place. If you're not getting that, either come to me or tell your 3PL. If it's, if they're decent size, they could do that. Most 3PLs should. So from a data standpoint, it just cleans up a lot of things. And the biggest thing is visibility into key cost drivers, and having someone that's going to, again, maybe you don't have accurate data to see into key cost drivers. Maybe you don't even have data, right? I see it time and time again. Most people just get shoved all these invoices. Like, again, that's why there's a reason why I have a job too, right? It's like I have to scrub through these. Like, people just think it's like magically, even when I put these like Power BI presentations together, you still have to, I have to gather that data somehow, right? And even if it's a data dump they give me through like their ERP, it's still, 9 times out of 10, it's not clean. So you still have to do work to put it together. It just doesn't magically, your KPIs just don't magically pop up. There's coding and stuff, not coding, but like formulas you got to put into that. So I call accounting to get a few different things so I can put into qualifying a company, right? One, I can ask them real quick spend. Say I'm only targeting companies that bare minimum spend 300 grand. I could ask that real quick. That's not a qualified company though. Yes, they spend that much. The spend is there, but what else is there, right? I don't know anything, so I got to dig a little deeper. So I'll do like a mock cold call. I don't know any. I didn't look on LinkedIn. I just have my companies. Like I call into. I'm very specific into like CPG industry. So I'll have my list of people who I want to call, or companies I want to call, but no information. They probably ship. Yes, they probably ship. I'm not asking for a meeting or anything like that. I'm calling. Boom. Get a secretary or whoever answers the phone. Hey, listen, I'll just be very direct, very short. Hey, can you kick me over to your accounts payable? If they ask who, just it's Mike with Global Trans. Just keep it short. You don't have to. Again, there is some like, I don't want to say it's not sleazy, but it's just like, I mean, most people don't like solicitors, so it's just like keep it short. Now, get accounts payable. That's when I'd be very transparent. Hey, Ashley, it's Mike with Global Trans. I had a quick question for you. Are you the one who actually pays your guys' freight bills? Yeah, that's me. And who you're with? Oh, I'm with Global Trans. We're a third-party logistics company. I know you're thinking shipping. I'm not trying to have a shipping conversation, and I haven't even spoke with shipping yet. I deal with a certain customer base, similar companies to yours, and I'll name some. I had a couple questions just so I wanted to make sure that, again, down the road, you guys would be a good fit. Maybe I can help you guys out. But if not, I'd rather just get that out of the way now so I'm not, continuing to blow you up and wasting either of our times. You got like 2 minutes for me. Yeah. Okay, cool. So then I just asked straight up, okay, cool. When you're getting those freight bills, when they're coming into you, what's the process like? How are they coming in? And kind of, you don't want to lead them into the question. You don't want to lead them into the answer you want. So I tried to ask that, and they're like, well, then I say, okay, well, like, are they coming in per shipment or per order? Are they coming in consolidated? Well, they're coming all over the map. Okay, cool. Now, I know it's probably up and down, but when you're getting these orders that are these bills that are coming into you, can you ballpark me a week how many bills come in? Then give them a range, right? If they don't know, high, very low, very high, and then average. And usually people are like, it's probably like 10, 15. Cool. Well, listen, then I'll use an example. I know, again, it's all situational, per the company, but, working with similar companies, I know that, one way they, allocate their bills is, quoted versus billed. Is that a process that you do? Yes. Okay, cool. So what's that process look like? How do you do that? And then they say it's time consuming, or they're having to, go back and forth. And then it ends up, oh, well, if it doesn't match, we call shipping. Shipping calls the carrier vendor. All said and done, most times we just eat the cost. I don't want to make this longer than 10 minutes, but you kind of get where I'm going with that. But so again, I'm not selling anything. I'm getting information to qualify that. Okay, cool. Last question. I know you said I could probably ballpark it in my head, but I know you said you did about 15. You get 15 bills a week. How many of those I should ask is, ballpark, what's the spend a week? Okay, cool. And then one more question, right? One more question. So when you're looking at these bills, do you see names like, I'll just start naming LTL carriers, maybe some truckload carriers. That way, again, you're not speaking shipping, but again, you don't want to have a shipping conversation. So you got to tailor it to like, instead of like how many shipments you get, how many bills you get. What carriers are you using? You got to ask is like, what names, who are you paying? And then once I get that, it's like, it's a lot easier. Now it's like, okay, cool. Manual. I also know manual process, right? So it's like, if they're getting billed consolidated plus, per shipment, not to assume, but I'm going to assume, because 9 times out of 10, it's true. They're using multiple different carriers, 3PLs, a mixture, and nothing. Again, if maybe they got a TMS, but again, that's something you can figure out. But you do know that they're using, multiple different people. So again, you didn't even have to call shipping for that. So usually though, I still will call shipping, but a lot of times if I have that on, it's like, okay, well, they're eating the cost if it doesn't match up more times than not. That's a financial impact. Spending a ton of time allocating, that's a soft dollar savings. They got a lot of, again, they don't minimal visibility, don't know key cost drivers. Those are things, I could go out to a CFO and say, hey, listen, I can I could clean this up for you. And then from a shipping standpoint, I'd imagine I could save you some money too. That's just, again, that's how you get some information and qualify some stuff versus like, hey, let me get a lane and let me be a nice person. Like, listen, I get that shit works, but it's like, get a little bit more sophisticated. I'm not even smart, but I'm just saying, it's like, think about it from a business standpoint, right? It's like, if I want to get a meeting with the CFO, I need to have a conversation that's tailored towards the CFO. And I'm not sitting here saying, trust me, I know these people out here that they're like executives. Trust me, I've met probably more executives than most sales reps, guaranteed in transportation. And that's not a flex. That's just, I mean, that's a fact. But I'm just saying is, you don't have to act like you're some high and mighty. Just know though, from a mental standpoint, like CFO, I usually think of as, financial. We're going to have a financial discussion. We don't want to have a shipping conversation because they don't really handle the shipping. They handle things, again, they handle bigger things that, shipping's impacting their company from. And then I think of like a COO is more as like, we're going to talk about like, hey, you guys do manual processes. We can eliminate or at least mitigate those manual processes, enhance efficiencies. Those are type of things that I think of like a COO. So I'll tailor it, but we can get into that. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be pumping out all these videos. I got literally 8 years of sales. I'm addicted to sales training. I've always been tweaking things. And my goal is to pay it forward. People have helped me along the way. And I think that, my goal is, one, if I can impact a couple people, great. People are like, why are you doing this? You're giving it away. Because most people aren't even going to use the information I give them. They're just not. People are stuck in their ways. I mean, most people, you present an idea and they go, it's almost like they shut it right down. And I'm not talking about companies that I'm targeting. I'm talking about people in our industry. It's like, it's foreign to them. And that is what it is. It's not a growth mindset, but if I can impact a couple people, amazing. If I could start also some of these people, because again, I always say is like the strategic sales piece is I almost feel like a black swan. I'm just smart enough to hang with these guys. There's a lot of like very sophisticated people. So it's like smart enough to hang with them, but from a sales side, right? It's like a weird breed. I'm very like outgoing, or I'm very aggressive as a sales standpoint, but I'm also very analytical. And again, you don't see too many of that. So see too many people of that. But my goal is to get a couple people that might come out of the woodwork that are super, maybe a little bit more introverted, but really, I know a few. I'm going to ask them to jump on with me on one of these that are super, super analytical, awesome people. I literally, they're the reason why there's a few deals I've landed. But so yeah, that's the reason for these. But again, this was accounting. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth tomorrow. Again, I'm still working on some stuff. Some stuff's about to launch though. But again, any questions, DM me. If I don't answer, keep DMing me. I'm not the person that you got to just blow me up. But again, please keep it related to the industry, or like I would say is like, if you're looking for help, no offense, not trying to really catch a virtual coffee. If you need help, I want to help, but schedule's busy. So it's like, I don't want to, I hope this don't offend anyone, but no virtual coffees. I'm good on that. I barely have time for my friends at this point, but if you need help, and 100%, I will definitely help you if it is related to what we're speaking about. So, yeah, I will talk to you. Have a good Tuesday. And as always, stay real.